Assetto Corsa Competizione's version 1.9 update includes a large number of physics updates, which I will cover in this video. ACC has received improvements mainly to tire and suspension behavior, but also adjustments to the force feedback and small changes to the electronic systems. So we can talk about this basically in 9 points. And we'll start with tire pressures. Tires in ACC are now more forgiving when slightly off from the ideal tire pressure. Previously, we were trying to strive for an ideal PSI level down to the first decimal place, and that's what we were all going for, but now there's more of a happy median. Tires can now range from 26 to 27 PSI and still be considered in an ideal operating window, and the player now has more freedom to choose their driving priorities without facing a significant drop-off in tire performance. Keeping your pressure lower, meaning closer to 26 PSI, will give you more movement and flex in the tire, more traction, and it will generate more heat. Whereas tire pressures closer to 27 PSI will give you more lateral support and precision, and of course generate less heat. The next category to cover in the physics improvements is the tire temperature. Core temperatures can still be expected to remain stable at around 80 or 90 degrees, but the surface temperatures will vary much more in the latest build. If you keep a close eye on your surface temps, you should notice a sharp drop off on long straights where the surface temperatures may go down as low as 50 degrees, and in the middle of a long fast corner you could see spikes of well over 100 degrees approaching 120. Why that surface temperature matters more in version 1.9 brings us to the third point. Tires now have more flex, and therefore your toe angle matters a lot more. A combination of negative camber and negative toe runs a risk of significantly overheating the inner part of the tire surface. Some negative camber and positive toe is now desired, as negative toe setups are no longer necessary. Negative camber and positive toe should yield slightly hotter inside temps than outside in the straights, and the difference should be narrower in the corners. Be sure to keep an eye on your outside, middle, and inside temps, and try to keep the difference between the outside and inside at no more than about 15 degrees. An extension of the more flexible tire model is the next item of note here. Softer pressures allow for more flex and are better for slower corners. Higher pressures can help you with high-speed corners, and these pressures can be used to your advantage to help rotate the car. You can actually use a difference in the flex between the front and rear tires, since softer tires are less precise. Making the rear tires softer using less pressure than the fronts can intentionally induce rotation of the car at the rear. Next up, we're going to talk about suspension, and the first thing to talk about on that front is bump stops. For the first time in ACC, bump stop travel is limited. After 20 to 30 millimeters of travel, the suspension can no longer compress and it plateaus. The lesson to take away from this is that stiffer suspension can now be more advantageous because it'll stop the car's chassis from absorbing impacts. A softer suspension will be more likely to hit the compression plateau, whereas a stiffer suspension can keep you from hitting the travel limit. Damper physics have also been improved. There should now be perceptible handling changes to slow damping stiffness, and improvements to fast damping can be noticed when taking curbs or road bumps and track undulations. Add up everything I've discussed so far and you have enough change to produce a noticeable effect on your force feedback. Adding too much negative toe will result in a slight loss of feel around the center, and conversely, a positive toe value at the front and rear will result in more steering stability but reduced car agility. And like the steering changes to tire pressure will also have effects on the force feedback. Lower pressures and the corresponding softer sidewalls can be felt, and it will require more steering input to change direction. Higher pressures, of course, will result in a car that's more responsive to steering inputs. Improvements to the rolling resistance of the tires may be the most easily perceived update in the physics of AC this time around. Cars should accelerate better than the outgoing version, and you can expect an extra 5 to 10 kilometers an hour of top speed. And lastly, Kunos has made improvements to the behavior of traction control systems on many of the cars. This will allow you to more finely tune the amount of wheel slip that's allowed before the traction control system kicks in. So that's it in a nutshell, but Aris from the Kunos team did a deeper dive into these physics changes on his channel, and I'll definitely link to his videos in the description below. Be sure to let me know in the comments which physics updates you've noticed in version 1.9 of Assetto Corsa Competizione, and anything you'd like the Kunos team to focus on in future physics updates. Thank you for watching.